Hello everyone, my name is Ali. I'm an artist, writer, and aspiring graphic novelist, and I thought it'd be fun to do a review of how 2025 went for me and make some goals for 2026 to keep me on track. I will be looking down a lot right here because I have right here what I want to talk about, and the neurodivergence in me will threaten to stay off topic if I don't do this. So, if you guys are familiar with Struthless, he has a great video called How to Review Your Year that I will be following. I won't be following like exactly, but it's a really cool exercise, and I'll be using some prompts from there to like really evaluate how 2025 went for me. One of the things I started doing in 2025 halfway through the year is tracking my mood. So since June I've been using an app called Dailyo, which I can rank my mood that day from like great to good to meh to bad to awful. You can also track like other activities or like put a little note for the day, which I only really do if the day was like really bad or really good. It's really simple, and it's a really great way for me to evaluate like my mental health and my happiness as it goes throughout like time in a way that I was kind of blind to before I started tracking it. So since June I've had 22 bad days and only 4 awful days, but I do feel like that number would be at least twice as high if I had started counting from the beginning of the year, because the beginning of the year was rough. Like the first half was much rougher than the last half. Like I went through some really stressful immigration shit, self-deportation shit, and then I developed a chronic illness early in the year that has still not been resolved, but was like pretty bad in the beginning because I didn't know what was going on, and I've been through so many doctor's appointments that were really invalidating. So a lot of shit went on, but I only started tracking since June, and since then those were the 26 bad or awful days in the last 6 months. And there were also 12 great days and 78 good days, and 73 were just meh days, which like is perfectly fine for me. Like as long as it's not like an outright bad day, that is a win for me. And it's still amazing that like the highest or like the most common type of day was a good day. That's like insane to me that's been like the last half of my year. Like I'm really grateful for that, and how much my happiness and my life has improved since I was like a teenager or early adulthood. It's just basically for the rest of my fucking life I'm the happiest I've ever been, and I'm glad I have like evidence for that through this tracker. I really recommend using a mood tracker if you don't already, whether it's through like bullet journal or through an app like this. I don't know if Dailyo goes for iPhone. I have an Android, but there's lots of apps like this, and that's gonna be one of the goals I set too, that I keep using this. It's really eye-opening, especially if you include notes or activities for to analyze why a day was good or bad. Going back to Struthless prompts for reviewing my year, the first one is a handful of highlights, and I would definitely say that my recent trip to Copenhagen and my trip in the summer to Paris were some highlights. They were really fun trips that I got to do with my chosen family and friends. It's just something I'd never really got the chance to do before. Like I used to think I don't like traveling much, and I think it turns out traveling is a lot more fun if you're doing it with people you actually know and like. It's a case for a lot of things in my life that I'm just like, I was doing it with the wrong people, surrounded by the wrong people, and that was always an issue. But turns out I do like traveling a bit, and it was a lot of fun to do these trips, and I hope to do more trips next year. And just generally getting to know Spain or Barcelona, specifically since I immigrated here this year, has been a lot of fun too. I'd say that by itself is a highlight. Creatively, another highlight, as a writer, has been finishing some projects and starting new projects. I developed 2 new story ideas that will be in line for my next projects. And I also started making a zine. I started scripting a season 2 of my webcomic. I did a total rehaul, a deep revision of my first novel of Project Migrant for an editor who has not yet responded, but it was still like even if it never gets published, I'm very proud of the changes I made. I'm very proud of the short amount of time I was able to like majorly improve that novel. I also finished writing my second graphic novel, my first middle grade story, which is what I'm continuing to work on right now so I can pitch it to editors. And of course, a big highlight is that I've started this YouTube channel. And I want to talk about that for a second, like starting YouTube this year, because it's a big highlight, and it wasn't in my plans. It was just sort of something. I was like bored living alone, and I had something to say. I made that little video about the cringe culture and what I feel about the word cringe, like a little video essay, and I would like to see if I would enjoy making a video, because I used to do it when I was younger, and it turns out I really enjoyed it. And then I started watching more authortube content and engaging with other small authortubers, and I decided to just go for it, to like make some videos about writing and publishing and just my life as an aspiring author. And it's been so much fun, like especially like being part of a community. It's like absolutely no regrets, and it is something I want to keep doing next year. I was never really invested in the numbers since it's just a fun hobby, like creatively and socially for me. But while the numbers are definitely tiny, they are interesting to look at. So I posted my first video on April 28th, 2025. That means at the time of making this video, I've been posting for about 7.5 months, and I've uploaded 9 videos plus 1 live stream, which I'm not really sure I'm counting or not, but this will be my 10th actual video aside from the live stream. It's not a lot, I'll admit. I know a lot of people who upload at a much more frequent pace, like every week or even several times a month, and my output averages out to more like 3 every 3.4 weeks, and yes, I did do the math. And one thing about social media, which YouTube is that if you're looking to grow, frequent posting is a must. However, my goal is not to optimize growth, but to build a community and make friends and have fun. So I am happy with my stats, so to speak. For 7.5 months and 9 videos in, last time I checked, I have around 75 subscribers. Most of my videos have around 70 to 100 views on average, for a total of around 1,100 views across all of them, which is around 90 watch hours, as in the amount of hours people have spent watching my videos, which is pretty cool. Like, imagine these numbers as like people in a room or hours of like a stranger's life. It's pretty cool to think about, even if they're not impressive on a larger scale. I'm pretty proud of them. My most popular video got around 280 views, which is the one where I read my old Wattpad story from when I was 12, which was really fun to make, and also happens to be my longest video, so I should probably take that as a cue to make some longer videos. And my second most popular one was also my second longest, and it got around 135 views, which is my most recent autumn writing vlog, which is so fun to edit. So I'm really excited to make more videos like that. So as far as YouTube goes, as long as we're talking about it, I think I'd like to set it as a goal, because it's made me really happy this year, and I'd like to continue pursuing this hobby. And seeing as I'm, fine with the pace I've been making these, like, it'd be awesome if I could make them more often, but I'm like, I don't want to push myself for something like that when I'm fine with the pace I'm doing. I'm gonna follow the once every 3.4 weeks, like, sort of calculation, and for next year, and set a goal to make at least 15 videos in 2026, mostly writing and publishing related, and hopefully at a rather even pace. But it doesn't actually have to be every 3.4 weeks. That's just like to calculate how many I'd like to make. I'm not gonna set any goals with like metrics of like subscribers or view counts or anything, because that's not really within my control, nor is it my focus of desire. But I won't be mad if I make some milestones there by this time next year. Before we make more goals, let's go back to Strutless How to Review Your Year. He talks about setbacks, and it is fair to point out that not everything has been a highlight reel. Not everything has been great. I did not anticipate developing a chronic illness this year of this level, where I get like fatigued from showering to the point where I like need to lay down just from showering, just like get so exhausted, and just a lot of other things like this consistent nausea and pain, and just things that have really not been fun to deal with, has gotten quite severe sometimes. And in the end, after so many emotionally painful like doctor's visits just being invalidated, I still don't have a direct reason, a direct answer for what is the cause or the treatment. Like, I have some leads, but like people aren't taking me very seriously, and it's just the realities of living with a chronic illness, which I hope won't be forever. But I'm living with it, trying to get help and relief, and it is what it is for now. A new skill that I've started, I'm not skilled at it yet, but it's very recent. I went to initiation class at a climbing gym for climbing, and I have very little body strength, so it turns out I'm not very good at climbing, but I'm like really happy that I tried it out. I was super scared, and it was like, I don't know, really stepping out of my comfort zone. I hope to keep trying it to see if it's something that I can improve at. There's something unexpected that happened to me. I lost weight, like 17 kilos, which is about 37 pounds, in a pretty short amount of time earlier this year. I could not have confidently predicted that happening last year. But I was, through intentional effort, just surprising in how much I ended up losing in a timeline that I did not anticipate at the end of 2024. I don't want congratulations for that, to be honest. The whole industry and culture of weight loss in a world that is often really cruel to fat people is a complicated topic for me, especially someone who, gained a lot of weight. I'm not gonna get into it, but the point is, it is something rather significant that I did this year that happened to me, so it's worth mentioning in this review. A book I read, moving on, a book I read, I'll give a shout out to Witches Abroad and Men at Arms by Terry Pratchett. And this year I finally gotten more into Discworld, which I started doing last year, but I've still only a few books in. I also finally read Gideon the Ninth, which I'm really happy about, and I bought and read a couple new books, including Some I've been really wanting to read for a while, like this one, for example, and I do want to read more horror next year, seeing as I'm going to be writing a horror manuscript, but I'm getting ahead of myself. A little bit more highlights before I get to the goals. A movie I saw, I rewatched some childhood classics that my partners hadn't seen this year, which was really fun, like Freaky Friday and High School Musical. More than movies this year was really about series, so I watched a few that I'd never seen before, including Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Schitt's Creek, Bob's Burgers, so like wide variety. Oh, Interview with the Vampire. It's been a really big year for vampires for me, and clowns and witches. I'm really getting like, it's almost like childlike, but then like with a new perspective, really into those things right now. Album I felt, Lord's newest album Virgin came out, and I went to go see her in concert, which is just a dream for the teenager in me. This is very recent. It was another moment of like really soaking in the moment, just like how far I've come, how wild it is, how I'm living like my most wildest dreams that the younger me, a younger me would have never imagined could come true for me. Like 14-year-old me singing along to Royals could have never imagined I would be in Copenhagen in that moment, listening to Lorde live, and that's just amazing to me. It was really special to me. What gave me hope? Zohran Mamdani's win as mayor of New York City. I think that would be a lot of people's answer this year. That definitely gave me hope in a year that was not great politically, although, you know, what year was great politically? You know, a lot of things went on this year outside of my personal life, and it was really hard to deal with. I'm from Venezuela, so a lot of things are going on right now with that as well. But yeah, that was one thing that gave me hope. So Zohran Mamdani's win is just like a spark of light in all that went on this year. Another thing I did this year, majorly cut down on my social media usage, which is still a work in progress, but I did make good strides against having it on my phone, like, or doom scrolling, or generally cutting down on my screen time that is not like reading or socializing. I do currently have Instagram on my phone, but for the most, I think if I calculate for the most part of the year, I have not, which is huge stride for me. I hope I can do even better on that next year. 3 new things I tried: eating escargot, aka snails, which I learned that I apparently love, climbing, as I mentioned, and playing a new board game called Munchkin, which has become one of my favorites, which is awesome to be able to try new things. So now let's talk about goals. The number one thing I would like to happen in 2026 is to get a traditional publishing deal, as I've talked about a lot on this channel, but that is not something I can control. I can and will make other plans under the assumption that I may not land a book deal. But if I do, some or most of these goals sort of go out the window, as my time will be taken up by realizing my debut, and I will not be mad about that if that happens. All that being said, assuming a debut does not take up all my time next year, here are the goals I'd like to accomplish. Number 1, finish my zine about immigration and have it out by spring. I will probably want to host a digital version on Gumroad and put it as like pay what you want. I may also want to ship the zine out physically to some distros, I don't know how to say that, who hopefully might distribute it. But first things first is to get it drawn and scanned and printed. And I've sort of already written it, but like I gotta finalize that as well. So yeah, finish the zine about immigration, have it out by spring. Number 2, be on submission for Project Rat by spring. I'm currently working on a video about this. It's going really well. Project Rat is my middle grade soft fantasy graphic novel, which is currently going through revisions and the process of making a pitch packet with art before my agents will try to sell it to editors. So accomplishing that, going on submission by spring, is my goal timeline for that. Number 3, complete Project Days manuscript. Project Days is my psychological horror YA graphic novel. I don't know if it's YA, maybe adult crossover. That is still in the very beginning stages, but in 2026 I want to not only outline it, but just also complete a polished, finished draft of the manuscript, which would take up at least a couple months of writing. Number 4, write 25,000 words of Project Ream. This one is a bit ambitious because this isn't a project that's super developed yet, but it is something I really want to try and plot next year, and maybe do some discovery writing, which is not really my thing, but maybe how I want to approach it. It will be my first prose novel, by the way, instead of a graphic novel. It's a new adult contemporary sapphic fantasy. If I can get just like 25,000 words of prose written for that project, I will be very happy with that, regardless of what percentage of progress that gets me to a full draft. Number 5, finish scripting season 2 of Duck and Kitten and draw the first 5 episodes. This one is slightly cheating because the script is like 80% done or like 90% done already. I keep kind of wanting to add new things though, so rearrange stuff. I do want to like add more to it and add more arcs. If you don't know, Duck and Kitten is my webcomic, a comedy about good and evil, where a sweet, innocent little kitten moves in with a evil mastermind duck. I basically describe it as where dark humor meets lightheartedness, and I culminated it with 50 episodes in 2023. Now I'd like to explore doing a season 2, but it's going to take up a lot of time, so I think just aiming to have the first 5 episodes done and script ready is a very doable start, and hopefully I can manage it. Number 6, read 12 books. Pretty straightforward. I do not read enough at all, so if I can manage to just read 1 book per month next year, I will be happy. Number 7, pass an A2 test in Catalan. I am about to enroll in my first course of Catalan in a couple days, the local language of where I now live, Catalunya. So I hope to pass that and be able to say I'm certified A2 level by the end of this year. I don't know if it's too ambitious, but since I'm fairly good at languages and will have accountability through classes, and I already know Spanish and some French, which Catalan is sort of mixed up in my opinion, I think I can manage this, hopefully. Number 8, know 1,000 spoken words in Hebrew. This one is kind of phrased weirdly, but basically Hebrew is another language I am learning for my Jewish loved ones who speak it, and I tried classes this year, but like the online format and the sort of small setting was not working for me. Plus there was a focus on written Hebrew when I would rather focus on like spoken Hebrew. Like it has a different alphabet, so it's a little bit different. So I think I will take up the method of memorizing the like most common words of the language. Sort of how I learned ASL originally. It will help me go a long way. My phone battery is dying. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, I feel like this should be a little better. Where was I? So while this method of like learning Hebrew just by memorizing, or learning any language by just memorizing the most common words, it gives you a huge amount of vocabulary that really helps you to communicate, but it does have you lacking in the grammar if you don't study that as well. But you know, I think it's just kind of the method I want to take. So 1,000 words may be a little ambitious considering right now I only know like maybe max 200, maybe 100 to 200 words. Could be aiming a little too high, but I guess we'll see how it turns out. Number 9, use my mood tracker every day. Pretty self-explanatory. I won't set any goal like having mostly good days or anything. Whatever happens, but I just want to keep track of it. Number 10, finish filling my sketchbook, my current sketchbook and my current art journal and get the replacements. That should be fairly easily as I got my art journal around 11 months ago, and now I'm halfway through and my sketchbook is pretty close to being finished as well. And after that, I just have some more general soft goals of things I want to do, like find a physical activity I can stick to twice a week if possible, which might be climbing or it might be something else if I decide that. I'd really love to just build muscle and stamina and just have fun and gain a cool skill. And this will obviously depend on how my chronic pain or fatigue advances or changes, especially in response to any potential treatment. I don't plan on pushing myself further than is necessary, but I really do hope it works out. I'd also like to become more flexible. I want to try doing a full body stretching routine on a regular basis like I used to do. I used to be a lot more flexible and really into flexibility as a teenager. Now I'm very much not. So I would love to be able to get like photos of how far I can go in certain poses at the start of the year. I already took like a comparison photo to begin with, and then like I'm going to compare at the end of the year and hopefully make some gains there. Who knows? And last but not least, I'd like to make new friends. Not much else to it. I just want to meet new people and make more connections and build this community in this new place I live in. So those are all my goals as a writer and artist and person who is generally always trying to improve themselves. Please let me know about how your year of 2025 went and any goals you may have for 2026, and I would love to hear about it. I'm a little rushed because my phone is still screaming at me to stop recording. Thank you so much for watching my videos this year if you have, and I'll see you next year. Bye bye.